Hi, thank you for visiting my YouTube channel. In this video, we're going to take a look at some research on global sovereign wealth funds, and this is from my exclusive investor database. This is a quick review of 76 global sovereign wealth funds in my exclusive database. So first, let's take a look at some key database components. So this unique database of institutional investors includes 76 sovereign wealth funds, 1,203 key contacts, of which there are 925 key contact emails. You're going to see the spreadsheet coming up in just a bit, and it includes key description of firms, websites, company emails, and more. So let's take a look at some key findings from the 2026 Sovereign Wealth Fund Review. Now this is a review that I do on most of my databases. It's also on the website. You're going to get more information on that coming up in a bit. But overall, this is a global shift in sovereign wealth fund allocation behavior, acceleration towards institutional grade investing. So more than 2/3 of the reviewed SWF funds have expanded their allocation to direct investments, co-investments, and private market structures. This reflects a measurable shift away from traditional passive strategies towards higher control, higher conviction deployment models. Real assets remain a strategic anchor, so approximately 70% maintain active real estate exposure as part of the long-term asset allocation. About 45% favor core and core plus assets that deliver income stability and inflation protection, and roughly 20% pursue value add or opportunistic real estate opportunities that support return enhancement. And around 10% engage in development stage and multi-decade national transformation projects aligned with domestic policy objectives. Now let's take a look at some key strategic themes emerging from SWF research. National development plus global return models. Most sovereign wealth funds balance commercial return mandates with domestic economic priorities. This dual framework is most visible in infrastructure, renewables, and industrial diversification programs. Rising appetite for private markets, so private equity, venture capital, and infrastructure continue to capture increasing allocations, driven by the need for long duration exposure, innovation access, and decorrelated performance. Climate transition becomes a core investment driver. A growing share of funds incorporate climate-aligned strategies, including energy transition assets, green infrastructure, and sustainable technologies. And this trend is consistent across the GCC, Asia, and Northern Europe. And lastly, partnership-driven deployment. Sovereign funds increasingly prefer co-investment structures, strategic partnerships, and long-term joint ventures. The goal is to improve execution control, reduce fee leakage, and build global operating ecosystems. Okay, so who can benefit from this database? Well, first off, private equity fund managers that target sovereign allocators with clear mandates in buyout, growth, venture, and co-investment, improving outreach efficiency. Real estate and infrastructure sponsors identify funds active in core, core plus, value add, renewables, logistics, and long duration deployment. Placement agents and capital advisors leverage accurate intelligence on mandates, governance, and decision makers to refine capital raising strategies. Family offices and institutional LPs, so they can find sovereign partners open to co-investment and strategic collaboration across global markets. Corporate development and strategic investment teams engage funds pursuing technology, industrial, and cross-border strategic investments. Government and economic development bodies, so they apply sovereign investor insights to support policy, FDI, attraction, and partnership programs. And lastly, advisors, consultants, and researchers use structured profiles and trend analysis for client work and market assessments. Now, this database comes from 2 of my institutional grade databases. You cannot scrape these type of contacts and information from the internet. It's just not possible at this level. So that's why this is a very valuable resource for any of these groups here. So let's take a look at the database. But firstly, key database disclosure. I like to add this to all my database videos. My extensive database library provides hundreds of thousands of global contacts, typically including profiles, emails, and websites, though not all details are complete. Primarily compiled and updated from 2021 to 2025, with most updates in the last 2 years, this corporate resource may include contacts whose roles have since changed. It's designed as an excellent starting point for outreach. It's best leveraged and continually refined by organizations with dedicated data teams. In other words, this is not a database that you're going to spam to. This is one that's really for deep research and large capital raises. Now, this database comprises a blend of individuals and companies, each with distinct investment criteria and operating conditions, so there's no guarantee your approach will be favorably received. Note, this database is available to corporate or institutional grade groups only, no personal sales. Okay, now we're over on the spreadsheet part. I'm just going to go quickly through this. So this is the package that comes with the Sovereign Wealth Fund database. It includes the firms and the key contacts. And I'm just going to use this key item slide here to streamline it for the video, make it a little bit easier. So if I scroll down to the bottom here, you're going to see there's about 76 contacts as far as firms. You're going to get their name, their background. You're going to get the firm type. Of course, they're all sovereign wealth funds and they're international. You're going to get mostly some assets under management in US dollars for them. And if we slide over to the right-hand side, you're going to get their address. You're going to get their website, their company email, telephone number, secondary locations if they have satellite offices. Year established, and again, as we scroll over a little bit further to the right, you're going to get more information on what type of allocations and strategies, geographic preferences, verticals, typical investment size, etc. And that will scroll over. You can see also you've got some private debt information, you've got real estate, you have hedge funds as well. And most importantly, it is a very extensive database. Again, this is not one that you can scrape off of the internet. Now let's take a look at the key contacts part of this database. So this is probably the most important part of the database because for the most part, these are the real gatekeepers of large amounts of global capital. If you scroll down to the bottom here, you can see there's a little over 1,200 contacts, of which there's around 925 that have emails. Now, if it doesn't have an email, it's really simple. Just take their name, punch it into LinkedIn. I usually get around a 98% hit with all these databases because they've been updated all the way up to Q1 2025. Another good thing about the database is, for the most part, if you've tried to reach out to sovereign wealth funds, you know it can be very challenging. A lot of times you're not going to get very many responses. But if you take a look at this one, for example, if you look at here, for Mubadala, which is one of the main ones in Abu Dhabi, there's probably 15 or 20 key contacts. You're going to be able to take a look at their role, their job title, the asset class that they handle. And there's a really good chance if you reach out to 4 or 5 of them, you're going to get somebody that's going to be able to connect. And once you're able to connect with them, then it's easier to be put into the right place or the right person that you want to reach out to. That's what makes this database reliable. Many sovereign wealth fund or institutional investment databases, to be honest, might have 1 or 2 contacts. This one here, it has multiple ones. You can see as I scroll down further, you're seeing a lot of additional ones. Abu Dhabi Investment Authority, you've probably got 15 or 20 key contacts at different levels. Again, all senior positions, all senior team members, and most active and updated to Q1 2025. So there's going to be a long life for this database. This is a very, very rare database, again, that's been created using 2 of my institutional grade databases. Okay, now just a quick look at the website before we finish off. So you can see DubaiInvestorsList.com here, and you're going to see the databases that I have over here. Now let's just quickly go down to the Global Sovereign Wealth Funds lists, and you can see description. You're going to also have the opportunity to buy it right from the website. You're going to see a detailed research report similar to what you saw on the video, and more information that the database includes. So that gives you a very good look at the 2026 Global Sovereign Wealth Fund database that's available on DubaiInvestorsList.com. Are you looking for global funds and contacts? My verified database includes 24,000 global funds and 400,000 fundraising executives with approximately 277,000 emails. Coverage across all regions, asset classes, and strategies. It's the most complete global capital access tool available. For more information, contact DubaiInvestorsList.com. That's DubaiInvestorsList.com. Please like, share, and subscribe.